Well, here we are at long last. Elrang is going to reform or more specifically, create a whole new Ayleid faith determined by everything that has made him so successful, that's defined the people and guided the Ayleids back to the Imperial City, or of course what is now the Temple of the Ancestors. There was a lot of great suggestions for what we should and should not change about what I laid out at the end of last episode. When it comes to it, I'm going to blast through it pretty fast because I don't want to dedicate yet another episode to the religious changes. I have a large caveat to kick things off here. Because so many people have been asking about it, because I've said the same thing over and over again, I'm playing on an old version of Elder Kings, I can't put together a mod list. I eventually relented, and I put together a mod list in the description. There's a link there now, full collection on Steam, where you can download a load order and apply it automatically using a not very well signposted tool that's been available in CK3 since the beginning, but Paradox don't make a big deal out of it, unfortunately. So if you do want to play along, you can subscribe, download, and get everything set up basically instantaneously. However, I was right. In doing so, I broke the game. And as a result, slight spoilers here, I've already done all this before. I actually recorded a whole other episode where I played for another year or so, only for it to then break when I tried to reload into it after having done that changes. So I've had to revert everything back. That's why there was no episode yesterday, by the way. I've recorded an episode, but because I can't load back into it, what's the point of uploading that, right? Here's what could have happened, you know, some sort of alternate future. A little bit annoying, but here we are. So, what we're currently doing is we're in the middle of a war to get a few more captives because of the religious changes I've added that I've taken from the comment section and the Discord in response to the last episode. We need a bit more piety to make it work. So we're currently going to war with a very basic war for captives. The war has just started. Oh, right, that's it. We're killing this lady. That's because we couldn't kidnap her, right? Somebody did suggest a mod that should, in theory, allow the abduct plot to refire when it fails. It doesn't seem like it's updated. It doesn't seem like it's working. But maybe we'll see it happening. And maybe because that one's already fired, it couldn't do it retroactively or something like that. Anyway, there are some pretty significant religious changes that people have said. The biggest debate, of course, was which gods, or I should say, which Daedric princes to make pantheon-level princes, and which princes to which princes to have as just accepted, or in the case of some of them, shunned. And some of them were some good suggestions on what we should shun instead, which we'll talk about more in a second. I haven't redesigned it. When you reload, it resets all your kind of religious planning. So we'll redo that in a second, but it lets me, as I redesign it, talk through everything that I want to change about it too. Like I said, we'll do that pretty fast, because I've already done effectively 2 episodes talking about it. Ooh! 2 people have been secretly uncovered to be lovers. You look like a real human being, and that is fucking me up. Is it? There's something very uncanny valley about this, but you look like a real person. And when I say a real person, I don't mean like, wow, you could be someone in real life. I mean, you look like a real person, like an actor or something that I can't place. That's really bizarre. That's very scary. Okay, well, thank you for that. Let's fight the armies and let's siege down what we can. We might as well, right, to get as many prisoners as possible here. I think that will probably do it. Now, why don't we sacrifice the prisoners already in our prison rather than ending the war early for no reason? So let's behead and devour you. Very nice. Let's behead and devour you. That's very nice. What about you? Behead and devour you. This tiny child also gets beheaded and devoured. And when we finish these wars, as I found out in the last episode that's now been scrapped, it turns out that... when we finish this war, we get the original cost refunded, right? So we get another 100 piety on top of whatever it looks as if we've gotten right now. So don't worry too much if this doesn't seem like a huge amount. Ooh. Hello. With the Battle of Weatherly ended in an astounding victory, I eagerly listened to my messenger as he reads the report from my commander. My lord, we came across an enemy banner while we were cleaning the battlefield. I thought it'd be a shame to leave it behind. Perhaps you wish to keep it as a trophy. Oh, thank you. That will let their duke get a personal claim on one of our artifacts, but I'm not really bothered about that one. Behead and devour you, behead and devour you. Amazing. And then finally, let's enforce demands and take 5, well, up to 5 more captives. And let's go through all of them again, and that should give us everything we need. Now, bear in mind, We do also need, when we become a lich, 1,000 more piety to be able to do that. But that's not really an issue. Again, having done all this before. So, let's talk about the changes then. Let's talk about what people suggested. I'm not going to take too long on this one. Firstly, I spent ages poring over the AYLEID page on the Elder Scrolls pages wiki to try and find some sort of good AYLEID name for the religion. So I went with Gori Malatu, right? Because I was thinking, I'll explain what it means in a second, right? I was thinking I need something that means like knowledge or learning, because that's been such a big part of what's gotten our culture back up to, well, not only resurrecting it, but getting it to the top of all cultures, you know, with the most progress on the innovations and things like that. So I thought the learning, we're also got a witch coven for Hermaeus Mora. Elrang also has, what, like 60 learning or something ridiculous like that? 64 learning. I thought we need to focus on that aspect of it, right? Couldn't find anything. So instead I've gone for Gori Malatu, Gori meaning obscure or secret, and then Malatu meaning truth. So basically hidden knowledge, secret, truth, whatever, however you want to translate it. I thought that was as close as I could get trying to come up with, you know, the limited AYLEID language that we know. Sona for single follower just means blessed or blessed. And then many followers is literally that, many blessed, Ilpen meaning many. For the tenets then, I've changed a couple of them, but I wanted to talk about this a little bit. A lot of people said, make sure you keep human sacrifice. In hindsight, I do kind of agree. Originally, we had, what, like wise men, esotericism, and mastery over undeath. I do kind of agree that human sacrifice makes sense because human sacrifice is a big part of AYLEID culture. Esotericism and the veneration of knowledge tenet that we have before basically did the same thing, except one focused on the wise man mystic stuff, the other one focused on the learning education. I felt like that other one was a bit more restrictive, whereas this one, this trait gives arcana. Magic, of course, has been a massive part of the campaign so far, so I thought that was pretty good. And we've got an arcane core and blah, 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 so that ties in better. So the other one is going to be mastery over undeath that allows us to become liches. Before we can do that, we do need to change some of the other stuff. That's it, the doctrines. So if your gender is equal, tradition, we're going to have lay clergy so that we can have temporal. We can put Elrang in charge of this religion. We're going to say a strong cultural identity, which is very true. Without all of these things we're going to add to this new faith structure, we wouldn't be able to have resurrected the culture in the first place. For liturgical language, someone left a comment saying that the adding a liturgical language is a pain in the ass because you can only employ people as your priest, your round priest, if they speak that language. Of course, no one's going to speak Daedric, no one's going to speak Dovazul, no one's going to speak Sayesi. However, it does add an option, as it says there. Rulers can use the request a new round priest decision. They always tend to spawn in pretty good. So don't worry about that too much. I also just like the idea of them speaking Daedric, particularly when our main pantheon is being flipped from Aedra to Daedra. Now, on the subject of that, let's swap our secondary pantheon over to Aedra. We're going to go with Sirabane, who is the god of magic. So follower of Sirabane gives an arcana bonus. For our second god, we're going to go with Xerxes. I read a comment. Somebody said that Xerxes was a follower of Hermaeus Mora. So that's kind of cool. Or, you know, there's some esoteric lore. Maybe they're the same thing. I don't know. Doesn't really matter too much. It just ties into Hermaeus Mora a little bit, so that's pretty nice. And then for our third one, we'll go for Finaster for the meme, because we have the delicious face of Finaster. Divorce will say, always allowed? Sure, do it. We want to encourage a little bit of ambition. We want to encourage the best foot forwards. If you think you can, make an enemy of someone by divorcing them, make an enemy of someone's house potentially by divorcing them, and you get something better out of it, good for you. Same with legitimization. Same reason why we're going to allow that one. Then we're basically going to allow everything. But the big change I'm making this time, and this was a couple of people actually left these comments independently of one another, basically saying that all this time we focused on AYLEID. Getting the old AYLEID capital, restoring the old AYLEID culture, encouraging AYLEID families, employing AYLEID courtiers. We should not allow close kin slaying. Simultaneously, we should take away, originally I had compassion as a sin. I've taken that away instead, because we have been compassionate towards the AYLEID, and we have been compassionate towards our own dynasty. We want them to go far, but not at the cost of killing one another. The bad ones, just because they're bad, don't deserve to die. They just don't deserve to be in charge, right? It's a meritocracy. We're not going to punish people. We're not going to kill people for not being the best they can be. So, let's flip Head of Faith over to Temporal. There we go. So now Elrang's in charge. Clerical function, everything else is fine. Now, this was the big debate here, and I've got to disagree with what a lot of people are saying, right? We are going from our people worshipping the Aedra, or at least some of the Aedra, the Magna Gi, alongside some of the Aedra, to basically Daedra worship, right? That's a big change, and sure, we don't get to see it from the perspective of the little people in the Imperial City, the many AYLEID people who are happily worshipping. We only see it from the perspective of Elrang. Now, I agree that a lot of these Daedra make sense. We could have Boethia as Pantheon because of all the deceit and all the plots and all the destruction we've been bringing about. We could have Malakath as Pantheon because he's the god of the shunned, and the Ayleid were shunned and kicked out of their land, much as the Orcs were. Though it doesn't make as much sense for Malakath and the Ayleid, but I think there's an argument there. Like Meridia, she was one of the primary pantheons in the old religion, so maybe we have her and blah, 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 blah. Here's my argument, right? Not only are we flipping from worshipping Aedra to Daedra, which are effectively the quote-unquote evil ones, you know, of course, depends on your perspective, done my thing different, whatever. I have a totally different suggestion. I'm going to say, and this one is probably the biggest change, Azura is going up to Pantheon. More specifically, I want a Pantheon of 5 Daedra. The other reason for doing that is if we are going to make every Daedra Pantheon, which again, I think there's a fair argument for all of them in some way or form being Pantheon, why not just a flip religion instead of making a new one? Why not, instead of making our own religion, we just say worship Daedra, which you can do. But we're not going to do that. We're going to be a bit more methodical about things. So Boethia, I'm moving from Pantheon to Allowed, because in my head, I'm confusing Boethia and Mephala. Boethia is the Daedra of destruction. Sure, murder and assassination is part of that, but for plots and underhanded scheming, Mephala is actually the Daedra that's more akin to that sphere. So we're going to say Mephala, Mehrunes Dagon, god of ambition, god of change. Have we not embodied that pretty well? We're going to have Mehrunes Dagon up there. We're going to have Hermaeus Mora up there, and then, of course, Clavicus Vile for pacts and deals, which have been very central to what we've done. Boethia we're going to keep Allowed. A lot of people are saying Hircine because you're a werewolf, you love to hunt. Sure, Elrang is a werewolf, not that that's had any impact whatsoever, and Elrang loves to hunt, but you know who else likes to hunt? Every other landed ruler in the game. So I don't think that's good enough for me to make Hircine Pantheon. Malakath Allowed, but again, not a big deal. Meridia I'm actually going to move down to Shunned, because she hates the undead. And Elrang is on the path to becoming a lich, so that doesn't make much sense. More like Balkaby Allowed. Namira Allowed, Nocturnal Allowed. Periite. Someone made a very good argument that we should shun Periite. Elrang's ill right now. Don't let me forget to cure that. But more specifically, he's doing this whole thing to avoid death and to avoid illness, so why not shun Periite, right? Sanguine cursed Elrang for the best part of a decade, so we're going to shun Sanguine. We're going to shun Sheogorath because insane people probably can't come up with as good thesis. They can't delve into knowledge as well. Sure, maybe you go insane delving into knowledge, but Sheogorath has never really been about that aspect, right? And then for Mina, we're also just going to say Allowed too. So we've got 5 primary Daedra: Azura, Clavicus Vile, Mehrunes Dagon, and Mephala. Now, Azura is, prophecy, mysticism, magic, and this is more or less a direct quote from the Elder Scrolls wiki, but more importantly, vanity and egotism. And tell me that there is not more of a vain, egotistical man than a man who invents a whole religion to put himself at the head of that, a man who is known as the king of fashion. When I read that on the wiki, I was like, well, I have no choice but to make Azura Pantheon, do I? The king of fashion worshipping the god of vanity seems perfect. Then for virtues, we're going to go back to patient, diligent, and ambitious. I wish these were in alphabetical order. I don't know why they're not. Diligent. What the hell is diligent on this? There we are. And then for the sins, like I said, we're gonna move away from punishing compassion. Instead, what we're gonna say is our sins are people who are afraid of change, people who are afraid of manifesting destiny. So we're gonna have shy, we're gonna have lazy, and we are gonna have craven, because I think those are counterintuitive to what we're trying to build up here. No, shy, craven, not deceitful. Deceitful's fine. Shy, craven. What was the other one I said? Lazy. That's right. There you go. So patient, virtue, and diligent can be our virtues. And then our sins are shy, lazy, craven. And then our pantheon, like I said, those 5 particular Daedra. And then we'll flick this over to Mastery of Undeath. Boy, I love alphabetical order on my lists. It's here somewhere, I promise. Just bear with me. Where the fuck is it? Mastery of Undeath. There it is. Mastery over Undeath. And that's it. I'm happy with that. Now, that says your old faith will consider you righteous. Let me tell you, the second we enable worshipping these Daedra, we are going to go from righteous 0. We are going to go to minus 100. Immediately hostile. Maximum hostility. We are effectively changing it from to devil worship as far as they're concerned. We are about to become the most evil man possible. And you know what? That's very Elrang. Have I forgotten something? Let me just pan through it again very briefly, just to make sure. Like Logic, Temporal, Fundamentalist, Equal, Strong Cultural Identity, Daedric, main pantheon of the Daedric Princes. We hate, what is that? Follower of Shazar. Okay, Lorcan. Okay, a sin. Fine. That's still forbidden. You're all good. Divorce is fine. Legitimization is allowed. Blah, 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 blah. Necromancy accepted. All of that is accepted. Do whatever you like, as long as it empowers the AYLEID people. That's okay. Done. Create the faith. We have lost the patronage of the Malada faithful of Rume's light holy order. The symbol, we weren't allowed to pick a religious symbol. This has probably been updated in the newer versions of Elder Kings, I'm sure. But in this version, bear in mind, I am like a couple of patches behind, actually. We are simply just have this cross. Now, you know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking that looks similar to something in real life. No, no, no. That isn't a cross. Those are arrows pointing to the 5 different Daedra. In the middle, we have Hermaeus Mora. At the top, we have Azura. To the left, we have Clavicus Vile. To the right, we have Mehrunes Dagon. And at the bottom, Mephala sneaking away. And you probably thought that was a cross. No, no, no. Like I said, it's all, it all makes sense. And there it is. So now if we go to Malada, we are considered evil. Again, evil, about as opposite as we can get. And that's why I didn't want to go too crazy with the Daedra, because it's already absolutely insane. Literally maximum insanity. Why take it further? So, here we are, the beginning of a whole new era. I think, if I unpause, there is an event that pops up. There we go. The Guru-Malatu Schism. The Malada curates have lost their way and can no longer be trusted to guide us. To remedy this, I've gathered a select group of curates together to discuss the future of our faith. These curates have declared Guru-Malatu to be the one true faith and claim that they will show the way to proper devotion by honoring Auriel with human sacrifice. Of course, we don't actually worship Auriel, so ignore that. Ilp and Sunna eagerly await the prophesized arrival of their arch-curate, Elrang, a great leader who will rally all faithful behind them under the new Guru-Malatu Golden Age. The world will see that Auriel, or in this case, the Daedra, I suppose, favor us. Wow. Big change. Big changes ahead. Oh, incidentally, someone has made an Elder Kings version, the original author, in fact, made the Elder Kings version of the mod that lets you turn perk points into other things. So I have got that downloaded. I forgot to enable it in the playtest. I didn't want to take any more risks. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought the series was over after the change I made last time. So the fact that it's still working is already a blessing. So now we can do a lot of stuff. I think first things first, right? We have an exotic feast to celebrate. In tandem with our exotic feast, we shall consecrate and celebrate a new holy site in the capital. A place of worship in our capital is known to attract a lot of pilgrims and holy men and women. It might be time to invite a holy congregation to elevate the small temple to a proper holy site. So this will turn the Temple of the One, or whatever it's called here, the Sunna District, into, the Blessed District. Oh, big brain. That will turn that into a recognized holy site. For 250 gold, 500 piety, we can do that and still have enough change left over for liches, so don't worry about that too much. As the capital already has a special holy building, we'll be able to reuse it for our own purposes. So this will re-enable that holy building. For years, my Guru-Malatu brethren has worshipped the divine around the settlement of the Temple of the Ancestors, praying in small churches and forming small congregations. With some work and religious will, I've managed to build the foundations of a new center of spirituality and religious worship in the Temple of the Ancestors for the ever-faithful. And there we are. Fantastic. So this will come back online. I believe it's, yeah, there you go. It's disabled, but will re-enable. We are also over our domain limit because the previous temples will have reverted back to us. So the Priory of Julianus, for example, has come back to us as well. So, why not, alongside having done that now, why don't we become a lich? We have a feast. We take all of our guests down from the White Gold Tower down to the Temple of the One. A small journey, as you might remember, at the end of Oblivion. We go there, we consecrate the holy ground, and at the same time, we embrace lichdom. 300 gold, 1,000 prestige. I will not live, I will not die. He's going to suspend his own soul in a liminal space, much like that internet meme. And there he is. Elrang has ascended to immortality. But he is not inherently evil. Most liches in the Elder Scrolls are evil and insane. But most of them don't have the luxury of doing it in public, where they have a support system and therapists who can help them. A whole arcane university maybe dedicated to stabilizing his lichdom, helping him find his way around his new form. I'm just going to say it. Maybe he might even become a nicer guy now that he's a lich. Now, the other thing I did in the alternate timeline is I realized that our Daedra wife, Elrang's soulmate here, is not a witch. So we're going to convert her over, get her in the, not that it really matters too much, but get her in the coven. We can also request a new round priest. Now, when I did this the first time around, the round priest had like 25 learning. So hopefully, history will repeat itself. We have court priest Sirdea, 19 learning. That seems pretty good. I'm happy with that. That seems nicer than we've had for a lot of round priests for a while. Of course, she's going to be instrumental right now. So the counties that flip over will be the capitals of the duchies of people of our dynasty. Does that make sense? So, for example, unfortunately, because we have one enormous duke due to a lot of infighting and realm mismanagement, Lictica has, like 3 duchies, but only, of course, 1 capital. So only that one's flipped over. Vindicel, though, has flipped over. Vilverin's flipped over, etc., etc. So we can spread this manually, though. Malada isn't a particularly powerful faith because, of course, it was basically only allowed to thrive when we allowed it to thrive. And even then, I wasn't actively converting too much because of this exact moment. So let's get out there and start converting over and see if we can fix this. Now, incidentally, we should also... How are we looking on development in the Imperial City? Pretty good. Development doesn't drop ever, right? Can it drop down? As long as your monthly growth is always in the positive. When we get it up to 100, it stays there permanently. It's just going to get slower and slower and slower as close as we approach 100, right? So I think we can leave that how it is. I'm happy with that. What I'm going to say is when we've hit 100 development, because that will keep our culture at the very top of the cultural leaderboard, so to speak. Then we'll move her over to spreading our cultures to the adjacent provinces. When they're converted over, because of the strong cultural identity, because of the synergy between them, it's going to make both conversion culturally and religiously faster, depending on which way around one is, right? Depending on, obviously, if we've got culture in one place, we can convert it faster in the religion and vice versa. So... the big thing that I figured out is, we can't actually make the religious head title until we have 2 holy sites. Your realm does not contain at least 2 Gora Malatu holy sites with Gora Malatu holders. So we can't become that head of the religion. We can't be the arch-curate, similar to, what they have going on in Alinor, actually. I believe he is the head of, no, maybe he's not actually the head. Maybe I'm getting that confused. Oriel. Oh, no, current head of faith is him. So we're going to try and recreate basically what they've got going on, but over here. Are you wearing, what's that on your head? I thought he genuinely had a frying pan on his head. That is a lovely hat, though. And Elrang would know. He is the king of fashion, after all. I've had fun with the king of fashion. I think what we're going to do is we'll rename it from the kingdom of fashion to a more AYLEID name. You know what? I'll pull up the wiki here, and let's see if there is fashion. There is, unsurprisingly, no knowledge of the AYLEID word for fashion. What about clothes? Armor. Quran is armor. You know, I think we'll just stick with Sirod until I can come up with a good translation. Rod. Was it just like that, Sirod? Wasn't there like 2 Ds or 3 Os or some weird AYLEID naming scheme? What the hell have I done there? Oh, counties de jour. It was just that, right? Yes, Arancel of Sirod, and then we've got our... I like that color. I just prefer that color anyway. It makes us stand out more, because the all the Imperial colors are kind of on a red to brown spectrum, and we would just blend in with the background. I want us to stand proud. Although we kind of clash with House Drez. I think, honestly, the King of Fashion would try and wipe out House Drez because their color is too close to ours. So maybe we'll work on that at some stage. So, what comes next then? Well... I have no idea, I'll be honest with you, how we consecrate other holy sites. We've done the one in the capital because of the decision that we've just taken, right? I presume we might get a decision to do that if we convert a county where we have a temple to our religion. Maybe then it will allow us to add it as a holy site. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Gora Malatu cannibalism. Ah, delicious. By imbibing reflections of the divine, we grow closer to the king of the Ultima. Now, because I think that's honestly kind of acceptable that we would have cannibalism be fine, because Elrang and a lot of his people fled to Valenwood, and Valenwood, they do cannibalism all the time. All the Bosmer are happy to do cannibalism, right? So I think maybe that's a cultural thing that they accepted. And it's not as if the AYLEID are above literal body horror and mutilation, right? So I think that's okay. What the decisions have we got here? Unlock potential, that's of course with the skeleton key. What did that do again? Massive boost to your lifestyle experience. Hey, maybe now that we're a lich, that might be something we consider, because a lich, we gain less stress, but we lose stress slower. Not that that's a big deal, because we can just do the feasts or whatever else. Prestige is down by 45%, piety is down by 45%, but that's because we're immortal, so of course we're going to accrue more over a longer period. Lifestyle experience, though, is down by 90%. And that's a really, really, really big deal. Because then we're, you know, trying to finish those trees is going to be borderline impossible, right? We do, however, and this was something I noticed is actually very, very, very overpowered, completely busted. We gain 50 opinion with everyone else of our religion, or more specifically, they gain 50 opinion of us, because we're a lich. They love us, they adore us, and that stacks with Necromancer as well for 60 total opinion, because he's a zombie. Because he has become, I suppose, because his spirit is now on that in-between level of Aetherius and Mundus. Maybe they view him as being more of a divine figure because he's managed to return partly to that ancestral realm. I don't know. That's some bullshit I'm making up to explain why they love him so much. What we see as a zombie, they see as maybe a divine in a way. I kind of like this idea, actually. Should we give it a go? Return it to Nocturnal in exchange for unlocking his potential. Oh, is that all it does? The skeleton key functions as a tool for unlocking all things, including portals, hidden potential, and other unknown possibilities. I've been wondering what hidden potential it could unlock in me, making me a better Oran. So if we do that, we just gain 1,000 learning lifestyle experience. Oh, no, okay, we'll rather keep the key. Yeah, obviously we'd rather keep the key then. That's a no-brainer. So there's another thing here, lay ground for holy building. This will allow us to gain a special building slot in the Temple of the Ancestors for a Daedric Shrine. Which is interesting, a building slot for a Daedric Shrine. Let's do it. I'm not sure if that's finished in this version of the game, because when I did it, I wasn't sure. Oh, what is this? It was the... Oh, I did enable it. Oh, cool. Hey. So enable the live... This is it, the live and learn mod. There you go. It's available in the collection right now. Much more convenient to update that than it is to upgrade the YouTube description. Right, so if we do that, we can somehow flip over our perks to... Oh, there you go. Look at that. Like a good wine, you improve with age. Boom. It gives us +1 learning. Boom, another learning. Oh, that's so cool. Because we don't need learning lifestyle experience. Give me that. Ah, that's actually not bad. Quite powerful, but not bad at all. And I think Amaeus Mora would love that. Okay, that's nice. I like that. I like that decision there. So it adds a quote-unquote building slot, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure where it added a Daedric Shrine building slot. Supposedly, it was in the Temple of the Ancestors, right? But there is, yeah, there's my feast. There is nothing about that I can see. Yeah, there's nothing here. So I don't know about that. I don't know what it's done for us, whether it was finished in this version. Maybe because we've already got a lot of special buildings here. Maybe it's not allowed because we effectively already have this special building, etc., etc. I don't know. I don't know, but we won't worry about it for the time being. Let's give away Rumair's Light. So let's, yeah, revoke lease to you. No, thank you. And we'll just go ahead and give that away to... Is there a family member that might want some land here? Let's have a look. Dynasty, Elfboy, ruler, not ruler. Preferably someone with High Marshal. Ooh, preferably, again, meritocracy. You're a genius. Enjoy. Enjoy your land. Right, what else have we got here then? How have we picked up this much stuff? Is it just all... Oh, we got a city holding. Well, let's give that away. She is genius. So you can have that one. Enjoy. Scholar's Cliff. We've got a castle holding. Again, we're looking for big brain members of the dynasty. Can I sort by... is it possible to add a preset for inheritable traits? No. That's unfortunate. Can I sort for genius characters? There are a couple that are unlanded. Deldea. Another Deldea. Take it. Genius Elf Boy is exactly what we want to try and encourage. And then we've also got this one here. That's a shrine. So maybe I want to keep that to turn it into a holy site. At least temporarily. We'll hold on to that one, because being 1 above our domain limit, I'm sure is not a big deal. If we flip you back over to manage domain, we can hold it anyway. Perfect. There we go. A feast is a feast. Madam, please, for the love of God, get your armor repaired. It's such a glaring hole. Unconcerned with any etiquette, my daughter, Captain Vel Silmersil, slaps me on the back. I mean it, she explains. I'd do anything you ask of me. Anything at all. Ask me and it's done. You can smell the alcohol in Vel Silmersil's breath, but the promise has been noted by every guest present. It's okay. She's too drunk to know what she's saying. Go on, let her off. Again, compassion for her own people. I like that a lot. Another innuendo. I know what I said. I just don't understand why you find it funny. Captain Loreckless cocks her head to the side while I withhold my chortle. I haven't told her what she said could be interpreted as something lewd. She had a lovely chest on display in the courtroom. I may not be alone in thinking this either. Malarpin Selathel spat out some of his wine. Repeat what you said, but really think about it, Loreckless. She's mortified by our perverse humor. That's what she said. Oh my god, but they became rivals? Are you prude? Because we made a joke about someone having a heaving chest, she's now our rival? What the fuck? We also gained a rival of Selathel? You and Malarpin Selathel started despising each other after a lewd joke was deeply misconstrued. What are you talking about? Hang on, so we're now rivals with both of them. All of this over a boob joke? Oh. Deldea has no longer considering us a friend. Has no longer considering us. I know what I said. You don't have to remind me. Amazing. Well, how long is it going to take to convert over Port Astra then? 27 years. Jesus. Right, because we are not... It's not our culture. Oh my god. Maybe we do move away from development in the Imperial City. Maybe we do. Maybe I love being the culture on top of all cultures. Maybe I love that more. Piss and shit. Are we ahead in innovation? Even now? 1, 2, 3 on those. Let's have a look at Alinor. We are way ahead. There is not going to be any culture doing better innovation than Alinor, right? Their cultural leader, their king and, emperor and head there, has 48 learning. They have none of the new innovations in Time and the Pretenders. We have 3. Surely no one is doing better than us. Time of the Pretenders. Alakir aren't even there. Yeah, I mean, elsewhere aren't even there. In fact, we're one of the... Okay, so Colovia has got to it, but they've learned nothing about it. Strident culture, nothing about it, so County Anvil. Syro-Nordic, they've learned nothing. Oh my god, we are #1 culture by a long way. Ashlander, not even bloody close. What about, like, mainland Morrowind? They're doing okay, but they're still nowhere near. Oh, shit, no. Oh, what about, like, House Telvanni? Hang on. Nothing. We are geniuses. We are the best culture who's ever lived. You know what? I think in that case, I'm happy to move away from development. So let's get you promoting culture. Can I actually sack you for a nice AYLEID lady. I don't know if you're the best to be promoting our culture when you are done merry. I feel like there's people probably more qualified for the job. Let's see if I can find someone. We can always kidnap someone, right? Hinerel, you want to join my court? Invite to court. Invite to court. Why can I not just bring you over? Imprison, grant titles, blackmail, abduct? No, I just want to invite you to court. I don't want to do anything that crazy. Weird. Here's what we'll say then. As long as they're within diplomatic range, inside, and as long as they're our culture, why not just invite someone? What about you? You seem good. Invite to court. Send her a gift. And then invite to court. Amazing. There you go. The best living AYLEID in terms of stewardship. That seems good. A new poem. The Spawn Crowned. Some men simply make all others queasy. Their features, their breathing wheezy. Oh, what cruel fates destiny doles out when such a tosspot wields such clout. He has dedicated the poem specifically to me and my unique blend of incompetence and incontinence. How amusing. The poem is lauded. We have been humiliated over his poem. Well, how unfortunate. And there's me saying, don't kill your close kin. And then they write a poem about Elrang pissing himself. You'll be pissing yourself in a second, my friend. Amazing. Right, well, let's swap you out then. Where's that new lady? Here we are. Boom. Get fired. And then let's say promote culture in here. 14 years. We should settle our own people there. So 14 years to settle a culture and then 27 years to convert the religion afterwards. But of course, that will speed up. God, this is going to take a long time, isn't it? Surely there's a faster way to... because the acceptance is so low and the faith is so hostile. Unbelievable. Well, hey! That was a little over the top. I completely forgot to tend him from his illness. Not that it matters because he's immortal, so it's totally irrelevant. He's also not feeling well, but that will pass in actually about now. Boom. His health is good. His health is good. I mean, his health is unstoppable because he is now an immortal lich, but that's fine. And there you have it. The conversion. So I guess the next big plan then is to focus on the Dynasty of Many Crowns. 10 independent elf boy dynasty rulers. Now, somebody did say, and this is quite a sensible idea, that you simply form the Empire of Tamriel and you grant independence to everybody. Now, in CK2 at least, there is limitations on who you can grant independence to. De jure vassals sometimes are not allowed to be granted independence. So it might not be as easy as conquest everything and then give it away piecemeal. We might have to do it in the other order, where we push, and now because we have that development right, that innovation, we can push for a Kingdom County, Kingdom Conquest Casus Belli, then we just give it out afterwards. Maybe let's do that instead. And then afterwards we'll just say, hey, you want to vassalize? And they'll say, of course I will. Because if they don't, we'll abduct them and make them vassalize. Genius. Thanks for joining me. We'll keep this one a little bit more concise today because it's been another religion-heavy focus. And I'm happy with what we've done here. I think this is a good, necessary change. I think it's going to be it's an uphill battle to get everybody to agree. But let's do what we can. Come back tomorrow.